What is up? In this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to build this thing from the Expanse. Most of the ship can be built at your settlement landing pad. However, you'll need a couple parts from the new Homestead and Hope Town ship technicians. To do this, you'll have to slap some random parts onto your ship to make it flyable, and then swap them out once you reach the appropriate ship technicians. If you're new to the channel, be sure to stick around to the end where I'll be showcasing the final version of the build. If you want to see more themed spaceship designs, consider subscribing to the channel because I got more on the way. So with that said, let's get to it. Alright, so first up, we're going to place our landing bay. For this build, I'm going to be using the 120 LD landing bay by Deimos. So we'll have that. We'll place that down. I'm then going to connect a cargo hold to the back of it. For this build, I'm going to be using the 100 cm ballast cargo hold. And that's just going to snap right to the back of our landing bay. From here, we're going to place a 3x1 Teo hab. It's going to be the bottom one. The reason why we're doing this is because it's flat down at the bottom and it kind of curves. So for this build, we're going to be using the bottom, the middle, and the top Teo pieces. And it'll all make sense here in a second. But for this first piece, this is going to be a 3x1 bottom piece. We're just going to snap that to the top of the Deimos landing bay. And just make sure that you bring it forward so there's going to be a slight overhang in front. From here, I'm going to be connecting these Deimos wing pieces right to the first two, the forward snapping points, and we're going to be doing that to both sides of this 3x1 piece. And then also just make sure that you rotate them to where there's a slight curve towards the middle. So once those are placed, we're then going to take a 2x1 Teo bottom piece, and we're going to snap that right behind this 3x1 piece. And that's actually going to allow us to take this NG-20 landing gear by Nova Galactic, and you might actually have to go to New Homestead in order to get access to this lander piece. But we're just going to snap that right to the back side of this 2x1. From here, I believe, yep, we're going to be taking more landing gear. This one's going to be the NG-15 landing gear by Nova Galactic. Same thing, you might have to go to New Homestead in order to get access to this piece. But we're just going to snap those right behind this Deimos wing piece and this connector piece. So it should still snap to this 3x1. At this point, we're going to be taking our Class C reactor. And the bottom snapping point is going to snap to the back side of this 2x1 Teo piece. And for this build, I ended up just using the DC-403 reactor by Deep Core. I'm then going to take some more Nova Galactic landing gear, and I'm just going to snap it right to the bottom of this reactor piece. All right, and then from here, going to be taking this Nova thruster array. That's going to be snapping to the bottom snapping point of our reactor. I'm going to be doing this for both sides. And then I'm going to be placing this cargo hold. This is going to be a Caravel V102 shielded cargo hold. I'm going to be snapping that to the top snapping point of our reactor. And once again, we're going to be doing this to both sides. All right, so now at this point, I'm going to be taking a Teo 1x1 piece. Once again, it's going to be a bottom piece. And I'm going to be snapping that to the bottom snapping point of the reactor. Because once that's placed, we're going to be taking this docking port and snapping it to the bottom of our Teo 1x1. And I ended up choosing the extender port 200 Docker bottom by Teo. Then going to take a engine piece. This is going to be the Amon 7 engine. That's going to snap right behind this Teo piece. And then from here, let's see, looks like that's going to snap. Okay, so that's gonna connect here at some point. So we're just gonna kind of move these over. We're gonna have to actually move on to the next layer before I get an actual snapping piece. So we'll just kind of position these right here for now. Let's see, let's jump right to the front. Oop. I'm gonna be snapping this, what is this? This is gonna be a Nova weapon mount by Nova Galactic. And I'm gonna be snapping some missile launchers to the side of it. And for this build, I ended up just using the Vanguard Tempest CE-13 missile launchers. So they're going to snap to the, you have two snapping points. We're going to go to the back one right here on both sides. So once that's placed, we're ready to move on to the next portion of the build. All right, so moving on, we're going to start off by placing our cockpit. For this, I'm using the Viking CP220 cockpit, and that's going to snap right to the front portion of this Teo 3x1 piece. From here, I'm going to be taking some weapon mounts, and as you can already see, I have some weapons already attached to it. So these weapons are going to be the KE-42. They're going to be snapped to both connecting points in the weapon mount, but these are going to get snapped right to the side of our cockpit. So we got one there, and we got one on the other side. From here, going to be taking a Teo 2x1 mid piece, and something I forgot to mention down here, this is actually going to have connecting points on the side, whereas this piece and this bottom piece, they actually don't have the connecting points. This 3x1 though, down at the bottom, this one actually does have connecting points. So when it comes to the mid pieces, this section, they're going to have connecting points on them. So once that 2x1's placed, we're going to take another Teo 2x1 mid piece. Once again, it's going to have connecting points. We're going to place that right behind our first 2x1. I'm then going to take a Teo 1x1 piece, and that's going to get connected right above our Teo 1x1 bottom piece. From here, I'm going to take these fuel tanks, and these are just going to snap right to the side of this Teo 1x1 mid piece. And these are going to be the M40 Ulysses HE3 tanks. So once those are placed, let's jump around to the front of the build real quick. I'm going to be using a Deimos bumper. That's going to get connected to the front portion of this Teo 2x1. I'm then going to be taking a Deimos 1x1 piece, and that's going to get snapped right behind our bumper piece. I'm then going to take a Deimos spine, and that's going to get connected right on top of our Deimos 1x1. And I'm also going to be putting a weapon mount right along the side, and then snapping this turret. This is going to be a KE-42 cannon turret. That's going to get snapped to the top connector point of this weapon mount. So once all that's placed, I'm going to be taking this cargo hold. This is going to be a Dagama 1010 shielded cargo hold. That's going to snap right to the front connector point to this Teo 2x1 piece. I'm then going to snap a Horizon weapon mount to the next connector point right there. And I'm going to jump around to the other side, and I'm just going to mirror what I just placed. So the Horizon mount, that's going to go right here. Our shielded cargo is going to go right in the connector point right next to it. Same thing, I'm going to move all these over because that'll probably speed it up a little bit. So the Deimos piece is going to get connected here. Same with the bumper. And our Deimos spine piece right above it. Move our gun turret. It's going to connect right to the side of this Deimos 1x1. I'm then going to take, it's going to be looks like this one's a Class A grav drive. You might be able to fit like a Class B. It's just something that's not, double stacked, but that's going to get connected right above our engine, right behind this Teo 1x1 mid piece. So I ended up choosing the R4000 Alpha grav drive, but any class, I think Class A or B, because I don't think the Class B's get any bigger than this, but anything that's this size will work. So you're going to place that, like I said, right here, right above the engine, right behind this Teo 1x1 piece. I'm then going to take these White Dwarf 1020 engines, and those are going to snap right to the sides of this grav drive. So once those engines are placed, we're ready to move on to the next level. All right, so moving on, I'm going to be starting off by placing this Nova cowling piece. That's going to snap right to the top portion of our cockpit. So once that's placed, I'm going to be taking this Teo 2x1. This is going to be a top piece. It's also going to have snapping points on the side. That's going to go right behind our Nova cowling piece. I'm then going to be taking another Teo 2x1 piece, but this time, this one doesn't have any side connecting points, and that's going to go right behind our first 2x1 top piece that we just placed. From here, I'm going to be taking a Teo 1x1 piece. This one also is going to have snapping points. That's going to go right behind this 2x1. I'm then going to be taking this Hope Tech. This is going to be a Hope Tech fuselage. And this is going to be a specialized piece, so you're going to have to find this in Hopetown, and that's going to be sold at the ship technician. So that's going to get snapped right behind this Teo 1x1 piece. From here, going to be taking this Amon 7 engine, and that's going to snap right behind this fuselage. From here, going to be taking this Deimos wing piece. That's going to get snapped right to the front snapping point of this 2x1. And I'm going to follow up by placing this cargo hold. This is going to be Caravel V102 shielded cargo hold. That's going to go right into this second snapping point. From here, going to be taking this Deimos wing piece, and this is going to get snapped right next. Yep, yeah, this one's going to get snapped to this snapping point of this tail 1x1. We're going to jump around to the side, and it's going to be the opposite side, and this is going to be mirrored once again. So that's just going to go here. Let's see. That's going to get connected there, and this is going to get connected here. So once all that's placed, we're going to move on to the top portion of the ship, and I'm going to start out by placing this Deimos, the Deimos cowling piece, and that's going to snap to our first snapping piece from this 2x1. Then I'm going to be placing a Stroud mid bracer. That's going to be connected right behind it. I'm going to follow up by placing this Deimos cowling piece, and I'm just going to flip it, so you're going to form an arch between the three pieces. From here, it's going to be a Deimos spine piece. And then it's going to be a Deimos... Okay, so this is going to be a Deimos spine B piece. This is going to be a Deimos spine E piece. So that's going to get snapped right there. And then at this point, I'm going to be taking a equipment plate. And this equipment plate has a gun turret already mounted to it. So the equipment plate's going to get connected to the top of this Deimos spine E piece. And then I'm going to be placing a KE-42 cannon turret right to the equipment plate. Looks like the last few things, we place in a Horizon weapon mount. That's going to get connected to the side of this Stroud mid bracer. We'll be placing another one on the other side. And then last but not least, we're going to be placing our shield generator. This is going to be a Warden SG400 shield generator, and that's just going to get snapped right to the top of this Stroud mid bracer. So once that's placed, that's going to complete the build.